Right now we're at 2,600 acres, and David and I was just talking. I was in Dooley County with Chuck for several years before I came here years ago, and we were just talking about it. I can remember in the early 90s when I came here, we were 10 to 12,000 acres every year, and I know that's not a lot compared to somewhere like Dooley County, but for this area, that was one of the bigger acreages. And from all through those 90s, we were along in there 10 to 12. And starting in 2000 with that farm bill, and when things changed, we saw a decrease in acreage year after year after year. And last year, I think we had about 4,500 acres. So we almost half from last year to this year as far as our total acreage is concerned. Most of our peanuts this year are 06s and 07s as far as the varieties that we've planted. Most of the peanuts planted in this county are strip-tilled. I'd say 90+% of our peanuts are strip-tilled, following a wheat cover crop or weed cover crop, one or the other. As far as yield is concerned, from what I see now, I would call it a fair plus, good minus kind of crop. For us, about 3,500 acres would be what I would consider there, and I think that's about where we are. We started our clinics week before last, and from what I've seen, not only clinic-wise but in the field-wise, I think that's where we're going to be, is somewhere around that 3,500 pound. And thus, with those acreage, we're looking at about 4,500 tons of production from Telfair County. Standard things as far as with the strip tilling and all, we get behind the planter wheel with Prowler, Sonaland, something like that, Strong Arm and Valor, and mixtures thereof between those and combinations of those type things. We've backed off from some of our gramoxone treatments with that type situation and go directly to something like a Cadre. Some of the old stuff like your Bassigram and Blazer and things of that nature is what we've been using the last few years. Weed pressure, as you've already probably seen and know, not only in your own operations but statewide, is getting greater and greater, and I don't know the answer to it. I'm not very smart, but I think we're going to have to do some other things as far as weed control, particularly with the pigweed situation. And we've got some other problems, some weeds that we're having difficulty with controlling now in the last couple of years. We've got 3 buying points, or I should say had 3 buying points. Albert and I was talking about it. Golden Peanuts right across the fence, their property, and Albert's back here, and I should introduce him, and y'all probably already know Albert Rogers with Golden, and their property joins our property here. And they're the biggest buying point, or the biggest handler we have in this particular county. We also have Mr. W.D. Knowles over at Milan that's handled peanuts for many, many years. They still buy and handle peanuts there. We had Giant Peanut, and Albert uses that facility now just to store peanuts. So we had those 3 buying points for all these years. That pretty much, John, wraps up. If you have any questions or whatever, I'll be